Okay, so last time we really dug into the early life of the RhythmSpeak creator.
Yeah.
And I'm still kind of buzzing about that whole curious kid who questioned everything.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
This time let's try to unpack some of those childhood influences.
Yeah.
The shows and the personalities that really sparked their imagination.
Right.
And maybe even laid the groundwork for RhythmSpeak.
It's fascinating how these seemingly simple things, can have such a profound impact, right? I mean, we're talking about Saturday morning cartoons and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, the stuff of childhood dreams.
Yeah.
But for the creator, those Saturdays were like a weekly ritual, a time for pure, unadulterated creativity.
So true. And that sense of wonder, that freedom to just be, it feels like such a core part of RhythmSpeak.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Mr. Rogers, who we know is a huge influence.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. What's striking about Mr. Rogers is how his communication style was so deliberate.
Yeah.
So gentle. He never rushed, always made eye contact, and spoke in a way that made you feel seen and heard.
That's interesting. I can see how that translates to RhythmSpeak, where each move is so intentional, so emotionally expressive. It's like the creator took that slow, deliberate approach and applied it to movement.
Exactly. And Rogers was all about kindness, curiosity, and individuality.
Yeah.
He encouraged people to embrace their uniqueness, which aligns perfectly with RhythmSpeak's philosophy of finding your own voice through movement.
So it's not just about the words, it's about the intention behind them, the emotional connection.
Absolutely. And then there's Writing Rainbow,
Yeah.
which opened up a whole world of exploration and learning through books.
Right.
Remember that feeling of being transported to other places, other times?
Oh, totally. LeVar Burton was like this magical guide taking you on these incredible journeys.
Right, and the creator has talked about how Writing Rainbow expanded their imagination, showed them that communication could go beyond just words on a page.
Yeah.
That connection to the visual, to storytelling, is definitely present in RhythmSpeak.
It's like RhythmSpeak takes that sense of visual storytelling and makes it kinetic, bringing those stories to life through movement.
That's a great way to put it. It's not just about reading a story. It's about embodying it.
Right.
Experiencing it through your whole being.
Okay, so we've got Mr. Rogers with his gentle intentionality and Reading Rainbow with its visual storytelling.
Right.
I'm curious, what about Sesame Street?
Yeah.
The creator seemed to really connect with those memorable characters.
Sesame Street was brilliant at teaching complex ideas through humor and play.
Yeah.
Remember how they tackled things like diversity, empathy, even death in a way that was both accessible and engaging?
Yeah, it never felt preachy or condescending, even though they were dealing with some pretty heavy stuff sometimes.
Exactly. And you can see that same approach in RhythmSpeak. It's playful, accessible, and doesn't shy away from complex emotions.
Yeah.
The creator has said they were inspired by Sesame Street's ability to make learning fun.
Right.
And that's definitely evident in how they approach teaching RhythmSpeak.
Yeah. It's like they took the best parts of those educational shows, the heart, the humor, the accessibility, and wove them into the fabric of RhythmSpeak.
Precisely. And let's not forget those Saturday morning cartoons. We're talking Muppet Babies. The Littles, Heathcliff, Garfield, Looney Tunes.
Don't forget Tiny Toons, Transformers, Voltron, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What a glorious mix.
It's easy to dismiss them as pure entertainment, but I think there's more to it. Those shows were packed with action humor and teamwork. They were also incredibly visual and rhythmic, especially the action sequences.
It makes you wonder if those dynamic movements, the way those characters express themselves physically, somehow seeped into the creator's subconscious, planting the seeds for RhythmSpeak.
I think you're onto something. Remember how the creator talked about being fascinated by silent films? How those actors conveyed so much emotion without saying a word? It's like those cartoons with their exaggerated movements and visual gags were tapping into a similar vein.
So we're seeing this thread of physical expression, of storytelling, through movement emerging from these different influences.
Yeah.
It's not just about mimicking those cartoons, but about tapping into that same primal form of communication.
Exactly. And it wasn't just about the visuals. Those cartoons were also about narrative, about telling engaging stories with compelling characters. You can see that same love of storytelling in RhythmSpeak. It's not just about individual moves. It's about how those moves come together to create a narrative, to convey a message, to evoke an emotion.
And the rhythm. Those cartoons were all about rhythm and timing. The way a chase scene built suspense, the way a comedic beat landed, it was all about rhythm. It feels like that same sense of rhythm is at the heart of RhythmSpeak.
Absolutely.